March Story is one of those rare manga titles that slipped under the radar but deserves far more recognition than it received. Written by Kim Hyung-min and illustrated by Yang Kyung-il, this hauntingly beautiful 5-volume series ran in monthly Sunday GNX from 2007 to 2013. Although categorized as seinen, March Story is a unique hybrid, a mix of romance, horror, and visceral fantasy action, all wrapped in some of the most breathtaking manga art of its era. An elegant horror tale rooted in tragedy. Set in a stylized version of 18th century Europe, March Story introduces readers to ills, demonic entities that inhabit objects of great beauty. Whether it's a luxurious necklace or a masterful painting, once an object is tainted by an ill, anyone who touches it with desire in their heart becomes possessed. These victims are transformed into deadly, monstrous versions of themselves. To counter this threat, a secretive order of hunters exists to destroy the ill before more lives are lost. The series centers on March, a stoic and skilled hunter with a sorrowful secret. Presenting as male in order to blend into her world, March's true identity as a woman remains concealed. But the real curse she bears isn't merely societal, it's emotional. If she were ever to fall in love, it would trigger a devastating fate. Her quest, therefore, is not just to destroy demons, but to grapple with her own forbidden yearning for connection. A genre-defying masterwork. On paper, March Story reads like a standard supernatural thriller, monster of the week arcs, gothic visuals, and flashy combat sequences. But what sets it apart is the stunningly detailed artwork and emotionally charged storytelling. Every action scene is lush with Baroque imagery, thorns, crescent blades, shattered glass, and packed with symbolic weight. The manga's world feels alive, poetic, and darkly enchanting. When it comes to horror, the series doesn't hold back. The ill are terrifying, grotesque embodiments of desire twisted into nightmares. But no antagonist is more memorable than Lady Janjagi, a sinister noblewoman inspired by the real-life Countess Elizabeth Bathory. She's a walking embodiment of vanity, cruelty, and seductive menace. Her presence looms large as the perfect counterpoint to March's search for light amidst shadows. Romance, repression, and redemption. While the demonic battles and nightmarish visuals draw you in, the emotional weight keeps you there. March Story is, at its core, a tale about longing. Specifically, March's desire to love and be loved despite the doom it promises. Her struggle adds a romantic dimension that never slips into melodrama or cliché. She's never reduced to a damsel or driven by blind passion. Instead, her yearning is restrained, painful, and mature, much like the world she inhabits. The romance is as tragic as it is poignant, especially as March encounters someone who begins to crack the armor she's built around herself. Her journey becomes not just one of survival, but self-acceptance. A hidden gem for horror lovers and beyond. March Story took a risk by mixing so many genres, horror, action, fantasy, romance, and yet it pulls off the balancing act with elegance. The pacing is thoughtful, the exposition measured, and the characters, especially March herself, feel layered and human. Flashbacks enrich rather than distract, revealing key truths without derailing the narrative. For fans of psychological horror, tragic romance, or simply manga with exquisite artistry, March Story is a must-read. It's a story that doesn't just show monsters on the outside, it explores the ones within. In a market saturated with overlong shonen and genre-cycle tropes, March Story stands tall as a complete and impactful tale that's perfect for horror fans and romantics alike. YouTube tags, within 500 words. March Story manga, underrated manga, seinen horror manga, gothic manga, Kim Hyung-min, Yang Kyung-il, best horror manga, hidden manga gems, manga recommendations, fantasy horror manga, manga art, supernatural manga, tragic romance manga, March Story explained, manga review, Lady Janjagi, manga villain, March Story analysis, dark manga, horror romance manga, top seinen manga, overlooked manga, psychological manga, manga you should read,